Hey gang, and welcome to another video for Scooby-Doo Week.
Scooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Scooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now.
Okay, so today we're doing a Scooby-Doo movie, because it's Scooby-Doo Week, where we talk about Scooby-Doo for 7 days straight. In the future, after I do all the movies and we get into shows and all that stuff, it might be more or less, I don't know how we're going to do it later. But for now, 7 days of Scooby-Doo at the end of October, so let's jump into the second video. What we're talking about, obviously, this year we're doing crossover movies, so I had to talk about this one. I've talked about it on the channel before, but we're redoing, like I said, every Scooby-Doo movie we are going to cover. Anything, if I've already covered it, we're going to recover it or do something. Either we replace the video, if the video did not do well, or has not a lot of views, I'm just going to replace it. Some of them are older videos and I could replace them anyway. If it does a lot of views, we'll keep it and just have 2. Why not? But I gotta do everything with Scooby-Doo, and this is one I don't mind covering again because that's a great movie. Doing Straight Out of Nowhere, Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. So let's jump into this movie. My thoughts on this movie. Obviously, this movie is a little biased to me because I'm a big Courage fan, so I'm a little biased. I'm already a Scooby-Doo fan, but then you put Courage in it. When I thought this, I was like, this actually makes so much sense as a crossover idea, because both of them, Courage and Scooby-Doo, right? Courage and Scooby-Doo are both dogs. They both have to deal with, like, monsters and stuff, and usually a lot of times with Scooby-Doo, there's a good chance, most of the time, it's people in costumes, sometimes it's actual monsters, but Courage has to deal with that too. They're both usually, like, kind of scared of stuff. Like, Courage can easily get scared. Same with Scooby-Doo, they both easily get scared by stuff, because when, he's just the ooga booga with the mask, it easily scares Courage. I feel like you've seen the mask so many times, I feel like you should not be scared, but, they're both scaredy cats, kind of. But Courage, I think, compared to Scooby, a lot of times, will, like, if Mira's in trouble, he will go to save her no matter what. Even if he's scared, he will do that. And I think something where, even though he will try to save her, even if he's scared, he does that. I think Scooby does that. You see Scooby-Doo have done that as well. So they feel very similar. Like, 2 scared dogs have to deal with, like, monsters or people, if it's just people in masks, or just regular guys. They have to deal with stuff. And it's, like, kind of fun, because it makes sense. Those one, obviously, is Hanna-Barbera. Scooby-Doo's Hanna-Barbera. Courage is Cartoon Network. But technically, Cartoon Network, kind of, Scooby-Doo, kind of, you could say, fits with Cartoon Network as well, because they've been on Cartoon Network so much to play it. It just makes sense. Does it crossover? I'm like, yes. I don't want the crossovers to do. This is great. And also, to get more Courage, great. And also kind of wraps up the Courage story. At least explains a little bit of what to deal with Courage and some stuff with Courage. I kind of like gives a wrap up. But we'll talk about that when we get to it. That's near the end. But without further ado, let's jump into this movie. I think I already gave a talk about I like this movie. So let's get into it. Spoiler warnings ahead. And these movies I'm sure I'm going to be talking a lot about, but let's just jump into it. So, this movie is obviously about Courage and Scooby-Doo teaming up. It starts off with Scooby-Doo. Sometimes Scooby-Doo movies starts off with them with another case, and they solve it. And this guy, who's robbing a bank, and they stop him, and figure out who he is. And then Scooby hears this noise, and it's just making him go kind of like dance, do something. He runs off to the noise, and then he obviously meets Courage, who is also hears the noise, and they meet each other. Then all these big cicada bugs, were they cicada? What were they called them? I can't remember what they call them, like cicadas, or what are all these big bug things came out of the ground and start attacking him. And Shaggy and the rest of the gang come, and then they meet, and they're like, obviously they're scared of it, they don't know who it is, but Scooby's like, oh, these are my friends. They're like, oh, hello. And then it's cool to see Courage meet, like, Scooby-Doo and the gang, and then they meet, obviously Muriel comes in and meets them. They meet Eustace, who Eustace is, like, obviously himself. He's like the grouchy old man who scares Courage all the time. He's kind of like a dick. Yeah, he is still great. Now, he's not the original, he's the only character in this. Eustace does not sound like the original voice actor. I'm assuming I think the original voice actor was passed. That's why he was not in this. Muriel is played by the original voice actor who played her, but I believe it's the last time she got to play Muriel. Like, after this, obviously, I think he has passed, which sucks. But at least we got to get this kind of like finale, so it's cool. And the guy playing Eustace is not bad. He's not perfect, but he's not bad. Probably one of the worst things about this thing, I would say, probably my least favorite. Like, his voice actor's not bad, but it's not like, I feel like, it's not bad, but it could be better, but it's serviceable. I think that's the only thing. He's the only character I'm like, it's not bad, but it could be better. But, let's jump back into it. And obviously, Muriel's making some, like, homemade cookies and stuff, and obviously Shaggy, Scooby, and Courage all eating it and having a good time. And then also, throughout the movie, Muriel is, like, giving riddles, and most of the time, Velma's trying to solve them, but she can't. And then she gets it, like, once she gets the answer, like, I get it. How did I not get that kind of thing? I love that to see, like, somebody like her, Muriel, is, like, kind of showing up. Not showing, like, being a little bit, like, how can Velma, because Velma usually the small one, so she didn't get it. But a couple times she did get it, but somebody else reaches it and punch it. It's fun. Also, sometimes Courage does that thing where he's, like, trying to explain something, like, there's a monster or something, he's like, and he transforms into, and he's, like, his body transforms into the monster and just stuff. And then Scooby Shaggy, like, I don't know what you mean, little dude, but I can, well, okay, we get what you mean. We get the vibe. We get, like, okay, you've seen some stuff. And then we also have, Shaggy and Scooby linked to the self-help thing that's trying to help them with their fears and stuff. I think it's cool. Them trying to learn from their fears, and that's why sometimes they're not scared and doing stuff. It's like, that's kind of fun. I like it. And then we have have that. And then obviously throughout the movie, they get invited to the mayor's house. We land at the mayor's house. There's all kinds of references to the mayor of nowhere, to the house at nowhere. And the mayor's house has like all kinds of references to all kinds of like things from other Courage the Cowardly Dog episodes. It's weird that they say all this stuff happens in nowhere. Basically, they say all the weird stuff, why all the weird stuff's happening in nowhere. Not all the way technically is happening in nowhere. Some of it is taken out of nowhere, unless these are, because some parts Courage goes to like Antarctica, other places, and this stuff's happening. But if he's following the people there, that's different. But yeah, it's fun and shows, and they really explain why all the weird stuff's happening in nowhere. But like I said, all the place has stuff, and then they're in the mansion, they meet the person, and they eventually find more stuff about the thing. Meals with them, Eustace eventually gets home, and they get a bunch of, Eustace keeps answering the door, and there's people with money, because this thing is making a sound and giving money to Eustace, and he gets all this money, and obviously, Eustace is greedy, and he's like, I'm rich and all this stuff. And eventually they figure out what's going on. There's this like meteor that hit the earth so long ago. They had this, well, I forget what it was called, some type of thing that's radiating this thing that is growing all like the weirdness and all these things to this town and all that, and it's great to make it explain. I like how they explain why all this stuff is happening in nowhere. It's not just it's happening for no reason, it's all happening for why it's all happening, and I like it. It's fun, and I like it to kind of like explain it, so that's why I feel like it's kind of like a wrap-up, playing all that. Eventually, Courage has to save the day. Same with Scooby in the game, they have to stop the big villain who is behind it all and stop him, and everything they do eventually stop it. And then we find out who the guys are behind this, and it is Cats and LeQuack, who I'm like, yes, LeQuack. I love LeQuack. LeQuack is a great villain. I love him. And Cats is another really great villain, a very good villain. And also the fact that I love when Fred and then McCoy take off the mask of them as like Cats and LeQuack, and they don't come off, and like it's like they're not a mask, and they're like, yeah, like they don't believe it. Like, yeah, no, these masks are really on here tight. And I'm like, nope, they're not masks. They're actual people. I love how even in this, and after everything they've been through, but like the media fair and had all this thing and changing them and doing all this shit, but then these guys being a Canada, like a little duck thing or whatever, alien thing are the most crazy, well, the one's not an alien, but you know what I mean, those are the most reasonable things that are like, they can't be real, but all the other stuff that happened, that's okay. But the movie's great, like it explains that. Scooby and Courage is great. This is a fun crossover. At the end we find out who the people were, because there was like some people who were working in the manor who were like butlers and stuff. We find out it's the general and stuff, and the other guy who we usually in the Courage episodes who come in and do stuff. It's fun to see them in there, other recording characters from Courage, because there are a lot of great characters. Kind of wish we had some of the other characters we show up, like some of the other recurring like people just in the town and stuff. Like, it would be cool to see that, like the one guy who always comes in like, aha, you fool, or some stuff like that. It would be cool to have some other scenes like that. But yeah, this movie was great. I'm not gonna complain too much. It's still great. I still enjoy it. It's fun. They also have a car chase in the beginning. It's fun. It's just so much stuff. It's a great movie. I recommend it highly. Also, Eustace does a rap in this. It's another part that I'm like, yeah, I don't, with the way Eustace acts, he seems like you young folk and all your shit, you're talking to Scooby and them, you hippie young folk and all that stuff, and then you're doing a rap thing. I'm like, I feel a little like, yeah, I don't know about that. That's the one problem. Like, yeah, that's the only other part where Eustace is, like I said, his voice acting is a little off. It's not like not bad, but the rap thing with Eustace is probably the worst part of this. I'm like, yeah, this is in it. This other part is in it. Yeah. So yeah, what do you guys think of Scooby-Doo Courage? Let me know in the comments down below. And that's God, we gotta do rating. This is another one that I like, and I do think Courage and Scooby is great. I like this movie. What do I rate this? It's either an 8 or 9. I know I'm a big Courage fan. I feel like I don't want to spike it, but we are gonna give it a 9 because obviously more Courage in this day and age, it's like almost impossible to get. Especially like not just Courage, just stuff, but just a new movie or show. Anything would be literally impossible, and we got something. So I know it's how we get more Courage. So I think that alone is a 9. But it's just good. I just enjoy it. Also, like I said, I'm a Courage fan, so kind of like a little bias on me. But what you guys think, and you guys can always stay epic and see you in the next video for Scooby-Doo Week tomorrow. So you guys can always stay epic. See you tomorrow for you guys. Bye.